Hey guys, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Asrai. In this video, we are going to elaborate and we also are going to discuss about election in Malaysia. We will delve into the legal framework that regulates the electoral process. So let's begin. What is election? As we know, election are a crucial part of any democratic system, and Malaysia is no exception. However, in order to understand the electoral process, we must first understand the legal system that underpins it. The Malaysian legal systems is actually based on the common law system inherited from the British colonial era, but with the several unique features. And also, the federal constitutions is the supreme law of the land, and all other laws must be consistent with it. Also, the constitutions divides power between the federal government and also the state government, and provide for the protection of fundamental liberties such as freedom of speech, assembly, and also religion. And the last point is the judiciary is independent and has the power of judicial review to ensure that laws and actions are consistent with the constitutions.
Hi, my name is Nur Atika binti Musril. Elections in Malaysia are conducted by the Election Commission, which is an independent body that responsible for the conduct of federal and state elections. First, regulating elections. The Election Commission is responsible for overseeing the electoral process and ensuring that is fair, transparent, and free from any form of corruption or misconduct. Second, reviewing and setting boundaries. This is an important function because the boundaries of electoral constituencies determine the number of representatives that each constituency sends to the federal and state level parliaments. And last, carrying out voter registrations. It maintains the electoral roll, which is a list of all eligible voters in the country. The Election Commission is responsible for ensuring that the electoral roll is accurate and up to date.
Hi, my name is Aina. I would like to present about election process that happened in Malaysia. So there are two process for election process. So the first one is a nomination process, and the second one is campaigning. So the first process of election is campaigning, which is the candidate will give the speech, include no hate speech or false claims about opponents, sticking to spending limits, and no campaigning on the day before the election. And also at the same time, the candidate also get the chance to meet their voters to get the supporting from the voters. So for the next process is a nomination process. So basically, nomination is a part of the process of selecting a candidate for either election to a public office or an honor or award. So a collection of nominees narrow from the full list of candidates. It is a short list. Candidate fill out paperwork and meet requirement. Then the election commission checks forms and disqualified any ineligible candidate. Okay, so I will explain about the timeline during the election day. So the first timeline is the parliament is dissolved. Of course, the parliament will dissolve, and that happen once every 4 years. But actually, a full term is a 5 years. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong officially dissolved. Parliament upon advice from the Prime Minister. When the Parliament is dissolved, the election will be held within 60 days. And the second timeline is who oversee the election. Actually, there are there are seven members election commission, which is EC, appointed by the king upon advice for the prime minister. Their first call to action is when parliament is dissolved. The EC issues a right to returning officer to hold election in their respective constituency. A returning officer is someone who represents each constituency on the behalf of the EC. And the third timeline is an agent. So on election day, each candidate can have an agent at each polling station to observe the voting process and make sure everything is fair. And the fourth timeline is a voting process. So voter go to the assigned polling station and show their ID to the polling officer. Make sure the minimum can vote is from 18 and above. They receive a ballot paper and go into the private booth to mark their vote. They then fold the ballot paper and put it into the ballot box. The voting process is a secret, and voters are not allowed to take a photo or video inside the polling station. And last but not least, the last timeline is a counting and announcement of election results. So after the poll close, the ballot boxes are taken to a central location where the counting process begins. So each candidate agent can be represented to observe the counting process. Once all the votes are counted, the election commission announces the results. The winning candidate is the one who received the most votes, and they are declared the winner of the election. And campaigning lasts for up to 50 days with only day of polling. Uh, the election commission typically declare a winner on the same night. So that's all for me. So I will pass to my team member for the next explanation. So thank you.
Next, we move to the human rights and elections. Human rights are the integral parts of the electoral process in Malaysia. Human rights in Malaysia are sanctioned in the federal constitution. The constitution guaranteed the right to live, freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of election, and the right for education. So, by the freedom of elections, voting allows you to nominate a candidate you believe would make a difference in the country that you're proud to live in. Since 15 December 2021, Malaysian citizens aged 18 years old and above are automatically registered to vote. There is also has been instances of electoral fraud and irregularities which have raised questions about the credibility and electoral process. That's why we have the Election Offences Act 1954 to prevent the electoral offences and corrupt illegal practices at election, to provide for the establishment of enforcement team and for matters connected therewith, to provide for the appointment of election agent, control the election expenses, and to provide for election petition. And for the last part, in conclusions, understanding the legal framework that governs the election of Malaysia is crucial for us, ensuring the electoral process is fair, transparent, and credible. By upholding the principles of the Constitution and protections of the human rights, Malaysia can continue to strengthen its democratic institution and ensure that election remain in a cornerstone of its political system.